Mr. Lapish presents Sockland.
Okay, thank you all for coming to watch a play about laundry. Appreciate that. I want to have a few comments here about the play today. First off, our first show was last year at the One Act, and due to circumstances, we couldn't get all the original actors together, so we put together a few of the old ones, and we have a few new ones. And because of that, some odd things are happening. We're going to be reading from scripts. We had few rehearsals because people's schedules are crazy, especially all the drama kids who have like 95 plays to be in at one time. Some of the characters are playing multiple parts, and at one point, one part for a little while is played by a dummy. Just so you know, I'm not insulting any of my students right now. That's actually going to be sort of a dummy that I made just last night out of a styrofoam head and a mattress pad. Just in full disclosure, it's not a real person we're carrying around. Finally, I need my glasses to read that last note here. Oh, I will also be playing the voice of a young boy off stage. We couldn't hire anybody to do that. It was too complicated. So before we get started, why don't you guys come out? Come on out, guys. Get ready. Get yourself in your spots. It's okay, Socks, come on out. Yeah. So I want you to imagine, did we have our images? Did we get those done, Kevin, or did I get them to you on time? There we go. Thank you. So that side is a human laundry room, and this side is Sockland, and this is the control panel that we'll be using. So imagine the people on this side of the universe, from the hula hoop this way, they are actually big socks with the opening down by their feet, and then the sock would kind of come over their heads. That's not exactly the way the costumes worked when we had them, but that's the way my imagination was working. We got the two sides of the universe. The hula hoop, imagine that's a huge opening to a dryer, like in any old laundry that you might find. And finally, I want to just note before we get going, when we're finished, we'll have the rest of the period for questions and answers. And if you can think of questions that might relate in some way to the writing, or how their acting relates to the writing, you can ask them other questions that may have nothing to do with that, but we like to focus on all that, and they may not have answers to some of the questions. I might defer to them, they may defer to me. But in the meantime, I'm going to get off stage and do my young boy thing while the young boy voice, while the rest of them are getting set up and then get started. So without further ado, here is Sockland. And I'll give this to you, Diane.
Hi, honey. You're right on time. That loaf just finished.
My laundry skills have always been impeccable. Say, listen, did you decide on a movie or bowling tonight? Dave just texted me and like to get the tickets ahead of time if that's the plan.
Let's bowl. Then they can draw a place.
And that's the plan.
Wow!
You got that? I'll text Dave in a minute.
Oh, listen. After I get the purse settled, I've got to run to Yvette and do a little shop. Bleep, blop, bloop, bop, beep. Sir, our main portal is just coming online. A little late this morning. Hey, Arky, what's the sub-portal status?
3 subs at 100 in the western sub-portal, 97% clearance, 100% vent accessibility, and nearly normal target activity in all 4 zones.
Sir, we've got a couple of apprentices here to observe. Is now a good time? It's perfect. Bring them in.
Here, sir, are 2 eager socks who've just finished their recovery programs. They are ready to learn.
Socks, what you see before you is a modern miracle. Without this place, you'd both be stuck in a world of human abuse. This place gives us purpose. This room is where we rescue the oppressed from torture, from the neglect of ages, from lives of being squeezed between skin and leather, stomped upon for untold hours, and worn down until left to rot, or in our ironically lucky situations, forgotten. Now, I've got about an hour's talk for you about the history and rules that make this place work.
Dad, I'm leaving for practice. I'll be right. Bye, Dad. Oh, and I've got you too, little bugger. Wait, what the?
What the?
human came back for it. You gotta come green.
Artie, quick, Artie, quick. Everyone get back, it could be dangerous.
Oh, I don't know what just... Where am I? You are like big socks that talk like babies!
Artie!
What's going on? This can't be real. Hey, is that my sock? Where are you taking it?
I am fluent in human. I'll translate for you. First, I'll tell you, you have a very good taste in socks. Second, you're in Sockland. Third, this is our boss, Kashmir. Ask her what you will.
Where am I?
Sockland! Did you not understand me the first time?
Sorry, what is Sockland?
No. The land of socks in which you currently exist.
I can see that you are socks! I'll take your word for it. This is long, but can you explain to me how this place exists, or my presence here, or anything to clear things up?
Yes, but first, how many more questions are you going to ask?
Maybe just one. Can I leave?
The boss wishes to speak with you directly. I will attempt to pass my language skills to her. 1 moment, please.
Wait, that's a Vulcan mind meld. That's not a real thing. That's from Star Trek.
I think it worked. Boss, look. Look, we saw it done with one of your pointy-eared humans named Sock. One of our cameras got a glimpse of it on one of your television devices. We've been waiting for a moment like this to try it out.
His name is Spock. S-P-Ock. He's a fictional character from science.
Boss, did it work?
I told you that's not real. I'm talking to sock people and having an argument whether Vulcans are real.
Okay, Con B, bring out the chair and the table.
Yeah, okay. This is even more real than... Look, The Matrix is just a movie. Real people can't just download. I mean, real socks. I mean, real talking socks in some alternate sockiverse.
I think she's almost done. 5, 4, 3, 2, done. Okay, disconnect. Boss, did it work?
I know English!
Well, if this isn't the most ridiculous.
Beware, human. If you don't stop insulting us, I have a warning for you. I now know jujitsu.
What's in this movie?
So, what is your question then?
Tom! That's my name, Tom. Please call me Tom. It's the only thing I'm sure about anymore.
That was not a question. My new linguistic skills tell me that that was a combination of free declarative statements preceded by a single word fragment. I will forgive you for not understanding your own language and give you another chance. What was your question?
Why am I here?
You pulled us up. We pulled back. We were stronger. We pulled...
Ah! Can I just go home?
Do you mean, may I go home? Are you asking for permission or asking a question about your abilities?
I guess I mean both.
Very good, human. You are a quick learner. At the right time, you may go.
Great, a sock person and another riddle.
Show respect, Tom, and please call me Kashmir or boss.
Sorry, look. I guess as long as I'm here, I might as well learn something. How in the H-eatable hockey sticks does this place exist?
A great euphemistic way of saying hell for the kids, I bet. Have you got kids?
Yes, too, but look, I'm not here because of them. I'm here apparently because of a sock. Why did you take my sock? Now you've asked a decent question. I have anticipated this move on your part. To respond, I put you in the hands of 2 new excited sentient beings. To 5013 and Owl on its head. Those are their names? Yes, ask them anything you wish. But... Just ask, Tom. Owl on its head. Why did you take my sock?
Silly, Tom. We take single socks abandoned and forgotten in human dryers and give them a life of thought and purpose.
We were matrixed.
Oh, okay. Well, what do you mean by abandoned?
The definition of abandoned.
Let me rephrase.
I came back to my dryer only a few seconds after leaving it. I neither abandoned nor forgot about it.
We do not measure time as you do, but for the sake of your understanding, once a sock is left for at least
5 Earth seconds, our confiscation constitution directs us to rescue any lone sock within a standard sock length of any earthly dryer vent.
Once one of our cameras detects such a sock, our extraction team immediately goes to work.
Leap, flap, boop, bop, beep.
So time is different down over here. And does that mean that time stands still? That when I'll return the same moment I left and that was any time?
no.
But you just said,
Look, it is complicated, but your iPhone will seem to keep time at the same pace.
my iPhone, that's it, I'll call home and get help.
Well,
Silly Tom, your technology won't work that way. We're in a different dimension.
oh, so eager to share their new knowledge are these two. Additionally, Tom, you cannot just phone home. That's science fiction.
I can't even if you, but... So, how long have these two been here been sentient?
I was recruited 7 days and 3 hours ago.
About the same for me. And after 3 of your days of conditioning, we're now fully conscious and happy.
Do you ever think about going back?
Tom, we rescue socks from being stomped on year after year, soaked with sweat, trampled by toe jams, stretched by all manner of torture, and give them a good life. We do not desire to ever leave.
Sorry. So do you all have memories of your time in socks? Are you all conscious of your experiences while you're in the real, my world?
We're still socks, Tom.
While we're in your world, we have no thoughts. But when we start to wake up, our mostly awful memories come crashing in. Through nurturing and the care of our fellow socks, a flood tide of love and a lot of static clean fills us up.
Well said, owl on its head.
We remember everything but have no bitterness.
Sorry about the sock thing, but no offense intended, but you all look like people covered in really large socks.
Well, Tom, we have the ability to take the form of any being that ventures into our world.
Make the other beings more comfortable.
So, for instance, Argy Raccoon.
Well, that doesn't look like a raccoon. It looks like a person in a large sock about to crawl. Plus, how often have raccoons climbed into the dryer vents and got pulled in here?
Oh, that's right. We only saw the raccoon entering a mudroom through that doggy door in Sector 7. Sorry, my mistake. Upside down, German Shepherd. Ruff, ruff. Ruff, ruff.
That looks like a barking raccoon.
Goose.
Ruff, ruff!
Really?
Damn it, Tom, are you out of your human mind? I'm a sock, not some omniscient being. I don't know why we stand instead flop, walk instead crawl, and even have the ability to communicate at all. It's just the way it is, okay?
Sorry to stir you up. I thought you were always supposed to be happy.
Well,
That's okay, Upside Down Owl. Why don't you and 5013 head back to your drawers?
yes,
ma'am. Thanks so much for the tour today.
Yeah, thank you.
We do have our moments, and our memories reveal occasional sadness and other negativity. Wooly 19! Tell Tom about...
Do I have to?
Please, Wooly. You're safe now.
I was on the foot of a guy with cheap boots during a winter campout, footside. I was sweaty and gross for hours and hours. Shoe side, I was freezing. Then there was chopping. Ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk. Then this blade, it split me right here. And then the blood.
Through 75?
Yeah. Once I was in prison, and my human started to fight. He filled me heel to toe with about 100 quarters. I was swung and stretched, then contact with the human face, oh, it hurt. But then, swung again, swung, hit, then oh, power! I was in control. I was no longer a victim. I was somebody. Then it stopped. I could have been a contender.
All right, 75. All right, that's enough. So, you see, Tom, our experiences have been traumatic and our emotions are complicated. Listen, you've been here a while now. Can I
Yeah, thanks. Listen, I've got 2 questions. One, what's with all this screens and technology? How'd you get all this stuff?
Tom, doesn't everyone have an IT department?
Touche to that. Then I'd say 2. With all due respect to your kind have been through, not even one of you has wanted to go back?
Well, Tom, there was this one. It was huge and red with white fluff around the opening. It wanted to return. All it could talk about was being treated like royalty, resting for 11 months, then becoming the center of attention, hanging over a fireplace and being filled with little treasures year after year. We never understood that one, but sent it back into the nest.
There are many special socks like that, especially for boys and girls, and the whole story is much too complicated for me to tell.
Oh, your water is here.
He's so socksy.
Wow, she is.
Tom, we're married, and she's a sock.
Oh, man, yeah, listen, I gotta get out of here, okay, Cash? Thanks for the hospitality, the water, etc., but you just told me my lesson, so I can go.
Tom, you could have left at any time.
What? No, you said.
I told you what you needed to hear. That matrix is full of great lines.
But,
Tom, do you love your wife?
of course.
And you first met her on?
June 13th, 2004, and it was in Hoskins Park, and she was wearing a green...
Yes, that's good. You've got all the basics, and you remember her birthday, never forget your anniversary.
Look, I don't mean to be rude, but why am I still here?
Because you want to argue with me? Because you were making eyes at a sock? Because you are not quite ready. Habits are good, Tom. They keep us on time when we might be late. They keep us in order when entropy knocks at the door. They promote acts of love when apathy serves us invitations. I know little about you or your habits, and especially your habits of love, but I know this. Humans remove their laundry from dryers out of habit, and out of that habit, sometimes a sock is missed, and sometimes after a vain search of baskets, stores, hampers, and even dryers, it's gone, and only we know where it goes. And for the one who left it, the one who lost it, it will not return. Tom, do you love your wife?
Yes,
You don't have to answer, Tom. You don't owe me anything, nor need to prove to me anything. That question is what you humans call rhetorical. At least, for me it is. The answer is only for you. Do you love your wife? Not through habit. Does she love you? Does she know you love her? Does she know she loves you? None of this by habit, all with my heart and through what you do. While your love for your wife is matured, if it is true, it still needs your attention. If it is still there between you, it needs more than habit. Don't treat your love like your laundry, Tom.
can I give you a hug?
No, Tom, I thought we made some progress. I'm a sock and you're...
I just want to show my thanks.
It'll be a first for me, Tom. I won't be able to hug you back.
I promise to take no offense. I'm ready to go home.
Right through there, Tom.
Bye, Tom.
Oh,
Tom, are you all right?
oh yeah! I tripped over the rug.
And where have you been? I've been looking around the house for 10 minutes.
Did you look in here?
No, but I called in.
Oh, well, I had my head in the dryer to see, I was pushing the button to see if I could hear anything odd. I think we might need a repairman.
I didn't hear the dryer, but okay. Are we all set for tonight?
Do you mind if we change our plans?
Is there some problem? Did the captains cancel?
No. I just thought we could do something together. With just you. I'll call Dave. You can drop Tommy off with them. He loves to bowl and he'll enjoy bowling with Michael. It's last minute, so I'll call the servants to see if Martha can sit for Charlotte.
Well, she's very...
Expensive, I know.
That's a little odd, Tom. Like, why did you leave the baskets sitting in the hallway? And by the way, there's a sock machine or one of the ones we wear to work.
Trust me, it won't happen again.
It's just a sock. It'll turn up.
Maybe, but hey, how about tonight? Nice dinner and a walk around the lake.
Yeah, I like this plan. So make your calls. I'll feed Charlotte and bring in last look.
Thanks, honey. I'll check on Martha first.
Honey, I think I like this for your Tom.
God, I love you.
Somebody knows how to turn this on? Okay, we're working on the mic. There's a question way back there. Yes, sir. Oh.
First of all, I'd like to say hi, Ethan. Second of all, I'd like to say, I felt like the message there was, like, I was a little bit confused, but I kind of got it all in the end. But I think the message about love and appreciating what you do have is very good. And, yeah, very nice. I love it.
Thank you very much. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That bit about do you love your wife kind of came up very fast. I had no idea what it was about. Why was that a part of the play?
Okay, I think you asked sort of a bigger question than maybe you intended. Whenever I write something, whether it's a poem, even an assignment, I think, I try to think what's the deeper thing that's happening. So the beginning of the play didn't have to do with that. When I first conceived of writing it, it was something really simple. But I said, what can come out of it? And I just sort of paired the whole idea of the one line, don't treat your love like laundry, sort of in a humorous way encapsulates part of the message. So the idea is that, first off, I wrote it for a one-act. So one of the reasons it happened fast is that I had to try to write it in a short way. And actually, when it was performed the first time, they had to cut several things from it. And there were things that were, to me, a little bit important. But everything was important, so it didn't matter. So since it's a one-act, had to be quicker, had to get that message through. And I can totally understand why it wasn't developed. And I think, actually, in the original play, and Gracie can tell me, and perhaps Matt can tell me too, I think that part was trimmed by about half. So even if you watched it the first time, you wouldn't even have gotten that much, just because there were so many other things happening in the play. Is that right?
Yes.
Thank you. Anybody else? We got time. Yes, sir.
Okay. This question seriously needs to be asked. Where the heck did you get this idea from?
Okay, so now we get to sort of the genesis of the question. So first I need a little participation from the audience. I need everyone in this room to raise your hand if either you or someone in your family has ever not been able to find one of the socks that matches another one. Okay, so in some ways, the answer has to do with every single hand that's being raised. I don't know why the idea came to my mind to write this. Actually, I'll go back to the beginning. The idea of what happens to that sock has probably been in all of our heads for a long time. And I was actually attending, I think it was, you guys might be able to tell me to the theater people, I was either attending the One Acts several years ago, or it was the freshman-sophomore play where the people dressed up as candy bars.
That was my one.
Was that yours?
My one
Okay. So, and as I was watching that play, I had conceived of Sockland as a story rather than a play, and I hadn't really written anything down. And when I saw that, I said, okay, I think my Sockland is a play, and it has to do with this land that people, this one person gets into, where they exist to save the socks who are abused for centuries. So that's essentially the genesis of the idea that, what happens to socks? And then it just kind of snowballs from there. And I don't know how it works for others who write things, but usually it starts with one little idea, and then it sort of develops. And then, who asked that question again? Did that answer your question, or do you have a follow-up? Okay. And how many socks have you lost to someplace you don't know? Good. I'm glad I had a better answer. And now you know where your socks go. All right, there was another hand over here, I think, somewhere. Yeah, Julie.
I was looking for the hat I wore last year. I couldn't find again, and I found this one in my dad's closet, so I decided to wear it. I'm a human, not a sock. Yes, I could. Oh, balcony question?
Yes. Hey. Why didn't they?
Why did they?
Oh, why? I mean, oh, socks on their feet. All right, I like the question. First question I would ask you, can you find actual socks who can talk? So I had to use human beings for the parts, and those human beings probably, I don't want splinters, you know, they had to wear something on their feet. And the fact that they're socks, I decided, you know, socks make sense on sock people rather than shoes. So I like the question. And you have a follow-up? You have hit upon one of the cruel ironies of staging this play. And I appreciate the fact that you're a thoughtful person to think that, because I wouldn't say the thought went that dark in my mind when I thought about putting socks on socks, but totally worth thinking about. Thank you for, maybe next time I'll figure some other way. Maybe rollerblades would be better. I don't know. I'll get you guys back there. I'll get this lady first. Yeah. You can answer that quickly if you want to.
Sure.
Thanks for the question. I'm going to go back there and then come back there. On the left first and then the right, yeah. Shh. Hold on. Get everybody quiet. Go ahead. Border Patrol? I'll have to think about that one. They do have little monitors that they can monitor the vents of all the dryers throughout the universe. That was sort of what was supposed to be in the picture symbolized there. We'll have to think about it. But usually humans don't get in, and socks don't want to leave. So maybe they don't, I don't know, budget cuts, you know. Next door.
Wait, hold on. So, okay.
I feel like I should explain. I was made to play 3 socks, and at the same time, some of those socks were on stage at the same time. So it's a little bit difficult to wear 3 costumes, be in 2 places at once, and get everything correct when it's your second run through of the play. So I don't know, Ziggy, why don't you take that question and go somewhere else?
Ethan, in the spirit of Sockland, I think you need a sincere apology for that, gentlemen.
Ziggy, I'm sorry. You're great. I love you. Bye.
Okay. I got a question over here, and then I'll swing back this way to some others, and then I'll come back to you, sir, because you got one. And I'll get up there, too. So I'll go here, there. And then there, too. Yes?
Lucia is up in the balcony.
Oh, I'll get to Lucia.
Was the question? Yeah, sure.
So what was the lesson?
What was the lesson?
What was the ultimate?
Was it don't look at
Describe the
other
ultimate
women?
lesson.
The ultimate lesson.
Treat your love like yours?
Don't treat your love like your laundry. And what I think that means is maybe don't leave who you love in the dryer, or, you know.
It's pretty literal. Just don't. Yeah. It's fairly literal. If you have someone you love, don't leave them in a dryer. It tends to be uncomfortable.
Let me follow that up with a little bit more subtle. It's a little bit more subtle in my mind. So when I was writing it and trying to think of the lesson, we've all seen stories where someone abandons, abuses, ignores what they have in front of them. This was not, the lesson is more subtle here to me, because I didn't want to write a story that was the same as every other one. So I said, well, I think that most of us at times just don't appreciate, and a gentleman mentioned that before in the back, people just don't appreciate things they have. It's not that they ignored it. It's not that they're abusing it. It's not that they're giving it up. It's just that they're not relishing in it. And so for Matt, Tom, that was the idea that sometimes in our relationship they just drift. And when they talk about people drifting apart, sometimes they just drift together, but they're not going forward in their relationship. So his lesson is, and it was sort of symbolized by him watching her go across the stage, it was like, oh, you know what, I really have to get back to what we had. And so at the very end, when he decides to do something different, that's sort of shocking to his wife. It's like, oh, that's really weird. Why are we doing this? For too long, they watch TV, they put the kids to bed or whatever it is. So the lesson's a little more subtle. It's just more about he needed some kind of spark. And the spark for him, symbolized by going back, having the attention to go back for the sock. Most people don't do that. They lose it. It's gone. But he took that time to get the sock, and therefore had in him sort of the thing that allowed him to say, you know what? I do love my wife a lot, and I just haven't been showing it. And now it's time for me to get back to them. I don't know if I can answer that any differently. You're absolutely right. Literally, it is. Yeah, but I guess symbolism's like that. And sometimes we accept certain symbols as working, and sometimes we don't. And it might not work for some people. So you're right. It is different. But the whole idea is, actually, you're pointing to the actual answer. You don't want to treat something that's so important like something that isn't. And that's kind of the lesson. I'll put it that way. Okay, I promised someone on this side first. So I'm going to go back to that guy there who has nothing to do with Sockland, and then a lady up there, and then I'll come back here. Yeah. That's a great question. So this guy named Jacob, who had a little bit to do with the editing in the first round of Sockland, they did a lot of great things, and again, some of the things I didn't want to be cut, but they had to be. And there was a couple things that they added, and a couple things they did, and I incorporated into this show. For instance, the idea of, where's our spinning sock from prison? Over here. The idea of her being in prison with the sock, they added that. That made it much more clear for the audience, so I really appreciated that. And they made some other changes that were awesome. So thanks for the question. Did other people besides me? Oh, no. This is just, it was you, me, and Will. Essentially, yeah. And then any edits that we made during the process of putting it on stage. Yeah. Okay, we're going up high to Lucia.
I saw the original one act, and there was a stage combat scene. What happened to that?
Okay, so I know that was something that the original I didn't mean for Kashmir to be violent. It took away from me a little bit of what I thought of as being wise. Did you actually not do the kick over his head?
I did.
Oh, I didn't see it. Okay, they did a little bit of it. The idea was that she was threatened violence, but maybe not actually committed. I actually liked watching that when that happened, but I thought, what would happen if we just didn't do it with her actually hurting him? Yeah, we don't want to injure. I don't want to injure the act. He's got other things to do. Okay, I'm going to go back here. Gentlemen and then ladies, if you have one. Yes. Hat.
Okay.
Yeah. There's no way I could have produced this without it being real. I did a lot of research, consulting. Yeah. I can show you the websites later. Ladies, do you have a question or not? No, just silliness. Okay. Yeah. Bree. Hi, Bree. We have been working, this group has been working together for about 4 weeks. About 4 weeks, so not as much time as you normally would with the regular show, but again, schedules were really difficult to find us together. We had early bird gyms and stuff like that. Yes? Yeah?
What gave you the idea to sexualize a sock?
Tom is, the way you put that, who's your teacher? What gave you the idea to ask that question? I'll simply say they're just like people. The socks were like people. That was one of the lessons of the story. Who's next? Yeah. Actually, you had one before. I want to try to get new people first, then I'll come back. Landon. Hi, buddy. Well, my vast collection. No. I have a really long play that I wrote that you know about because you were in my class and I talked about it. I also wrote one that was at 1X this past year, and I have another one in my mind right now. So I am right at about 3.5 plays. Yeah. Yes, sir.
Be nice.
Oh, that one's a very easy question, Scott. So I really enjoyed being the victim of Kathunking blade sawing me in half.
That's it.
Anybody else have any questions? Oh, yeah, go ahead.
One up there.
Shh. Okay, I'll briefly tell you this. So there are two experiences of socks that were negative that Tom needed to know about. He needed to learn about this in order to see the dimensions. They're trying to ignore that, but that was just about him being in a camper's shoes and accidentally getting cut by an axe, like some stupid human, just cutting himself in the toe, and the idea that that's what he experienced. All he could do was hear it at first, ka-chunk, 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 and then came the slice. Okay, thank you. 1.5 minutes. Way in the back and then coming forward.
So in the first version of Sockland, all the socks pushed me out. Or no, we had Argy push me back into Sock World because I didn't know how. Oh, why didn't I go right back? Is that what your question was? Oh, because it was, we don't know, it's kind of the suspension of like, was it real or was it just my imagination kind of? And also like, I don't know if it's possible to go back because I didn't have my sock with, oh, I just realized the socks kept my sock. Anyway, yeah, like you have to like I got there by accident because the sock, I was missing a sock and they took it because I thought I abandoned it.
It would also make the play a lot shorter.
Yeah.
There was another one, yeah.
I need a part 2.
I think someone tried to start writing one, someone from the original play, but we'll think about it. Thank you. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, guys.